Everybody, welcome to another review of the Haves and the Have-Nots. I watched the show last night and it really was a nice escape from the news. All that craziness, that rioting and that insurrection mess at the Capitol, that's just, things should never be done that way. And we know the police would have reacted a lot differently if the people were black. But I'm not going to dwell on all that. Let's do the review. So, and I didn't take my notes, so I'm gonna kind of breeze through this, and if I miss some stuff, I apologize. So Hannah, she was letting David talk and say all this stuff and go through all his lies, and all the while she kept her pose like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah, and all of that. And he really thought Hannah was stupid, like she's just going to like she was just gonna fall for him and then give Jim that power of attorney. But she let him talk, and then mm, she was like, no, it's not working. And she basically told him to get lost. And she made it clear Jim's not getting that money, none of that. Don't come back here again. But once he got out the door, she was like, sexy bastard. And I was expecting her to call him something much ruder than that. But I guess she was like, I guess she just went on to acknowledge what she really thought, but added a little something rude to it to kind of like, I guess she didn't want to admit what she was thinking, so she added something on it to make it rude and disrespectful. So Hannah she just has no cares left to give. She's tired, and you can tell from some of the things she's saying. So what happened next? Um, and let me just get Wyatt's mess out of the way, because it's the same thing. Vinny threatens. Wyatt begs for his life. Oh, please, oh, please. Um, my dad, he'll give you the $1 million. He'll give it to you. He has money. Vinny's like, no, he doesn't. Your mother has all the money. And he's like, well, she'll pay, she'll pay. And Wyatt is just pathetic. And he's trying to get Jim to send him to rehab and all of that, and you know, but whether or not Jim sends him to rehab is not his biggest problem. It's whether or not they can get the Malones off of him. And Jim goes down there talking to Vinny. He's calling him Vincent because apparently he has known Vincent since he was young. Um, and he this is where it comes out that Mitch did not give all of that money over to Vinny. Jim saying, I gave you $75,000. Vinny's like, no, I got $50,000. So now it's clear that Mitch skimmed it. Um, and I guess Sandy's gonna find that out because Vinny put him on Mitch, to try to fish around and find out what Mitch is up to. Um, what else? So, what was. So, there wasn't much going on with Candace. Oh, that's right. Let me talk about Hannah because that same reporter was back at Hannah's door asking her all these questions. Did you put Candace out? Is it true? She was a prostitute, or or did or the reporter say, or to Hannah, or is it true that you were a prostitute? I wasn't quite sure, didn't quite hear that correctly. Um, and Hannah's like, she just is not answering anything, so she calls up Candace, and and Benny's telling Candace, put it on speaker, and Hannah's trying to ask Candace questions, and Benny's in the conversation, and Hannah's like, Benny, I'm talking to Candace. And Hannah's saying, well, you need to call these people up and tell them that I did not put you out. You ran off with that pimp. Um, and Candace, she's back to all that Hannah, Hannah, Hannah. So, whatever progress they made, it's gone now. It went out the window with that money when Candace kept that money with the help and she was pushed to keep that money by Benny. He convinced her to do it. And so Hannah was serious. She's like, get these reporters off of me. And and speaking of Candace, let's get the White House stuff out the way. Let's get this out the way, cause so what's his name? Oliver, he's freaking out because the president has not come out of his room yet. And he's like, he's been in there all night. He didn't come out. He didn't come out. And Landon's like, well, leave him alone. He's fine. Um, Stop calling me. Landon was not the least bit worried, and I was wondering. I said, well, why wouldn't he come out of his room? It turns out he didn't come out of his room because he went to see Candace. The Secret Service snuck him in like this, not a very good disguise. A baseball cap and some stuff is not a good disguise because you could still be easily recognized in that getup. So they snuck him in there to see Candace. Um, Let me see. Oh, and the part that I really liked, and I'm gonna just say this is what I really enjoyed. It was Veronica. And usually I'm not here for her best, but this time it was perfect. So, and before, okay, wait. And before that, let me just say, she talked to Catherine. This was a good scene, too. She talked to Catherine, and Catherine was saying, well, you're going to help me. And she's like, why should I help you? And she's like, because I have the mortgage on your the loan on your rehab center. And because Veronica was like trying to say, well, you can't you can't you can't you can't make me help you. I'm going to testify against you. And that was basically what she was trying to somehow use that as leverage um, for Catherine not to call that loan in. And Catherine's like, well, somebody else is in charge of my affairs, so it's not up to me. Um, so Veronica's not going to be able to manipulate that situation like she wanted to, and so she's over there, and then she ends up at the hospital with Celine, and Celine is like, well, the boss and them are in there in the office, and Veronica's like, okay, I will handle it. So Veronica, she goes in there and she listens to what the hospital administrator, whoever she was, whoever, I'm not sure if she was the hospital administrator, whoever she was, and she listens to what is said and she concocts this whole story. Oh well, Celine was sexually harassed by Jim Cryer and all this, and we're gonna sue the hospital for $10 million. And Celine, all the while, she's like, what? No, no, no. And I'm like, shut up, Celine. You want to keep your job. Let Veronica manipulate and do what she does. Because this is the only way you're going to keep this job if you let Veronica do her work and manipulate and scheme and whatever. And this is when I like Veronica, is when she's actually using her villainy somewhat for good. I mean, because Celine is broke. She's got nothing. She's made a fool of herself. I mean, she can at least keep this little silly job she has. And when she said how much she was getting paid, because Veronica said, and we're going to need a raise. And she said, Celine, how much you get paid? $17 an hour. And she said, $17 an hour for this? And so after Celine leaves, the hospital administrator, whoever she was, she tries to she tries to come at Veronica, and she's like, well, though, basically that I believe the doctor. I believe what he said. And Veronica did not like her coming at her because she got her together, and by the time she was finished, she had denigrated the whole situation into conversation to like mocking the woman like she was dumb blonde. All right, okay, and that's what she does. But I felt like this particular person deserved it because I felt that she did come at Veronica the wrong way, like she was going to, like she was gonna read Veronica, but Veronica had something for her, and I liked that part. Um, and then once again, Jim thinks that he can threaten. He thinks that he can threaten Hannah. He goes over there and he's saying all this stuff, and then he gets down to it. He thinks he can bribe her. He says, if you give me that power of attorney, I will give you $25 million. But she's not going for it. And then he talks about killing Candace, and she's just like, if you mess with my daughter, that's over for you. That's basically how she put it. She's not afraid of him. And he does not seem to understand that Hannah could take him out. She doesn't need the Malone's help to take him out. She could take him out and probably get off for it because nobody likes Jim around town. Oh, and that's right. I forgot about the scene with Jim and David. So David had to go over there and tell him, yeah, it didn't work. I knew it wouldn't work. And David was like, and he admits that he really likes Hannah. And Jim's like, you really like her? And apparently David has liked her for a while. And so when Jim is saying like, oh well, I'm gonna go after Benny and Candace and Hannah, and David's like, you know what? Leave Hannah out of it. Don't put her in it. He's like, well, you know, Benny and Candace stole your money, so that's fair. And then I gotta go backtrack and say that's not Jim's money. That's Wyatt's inheritance. And Jim also calls Catherine's house his house, and he keeps saying that, and I'm like, it's not your house, Jim. Technically, you're homeless because you spent up all of your money from being a judge, and you wasted it, and you don't know how to invest or none of that. He's just a mess. But basically, that was the show, and I believe the ending scene was where. What was the ending scene? Oh, shoot, I can't remember. I'm sorry. But anyway, that was the haves and the have-nots. Tell me what you think. I believe next week is the mid-season finale. Yeah, that's what it said. And Kooky Justin is gonna set himself on fire, and is this the end of Justin, or is he going to be a burn victim that keeps harassing Jeffrey? Because you know how Tyler is, Tyler Perry is. He likes to keep things going on and on and on and just not let anything go, just like Wyatt has died, like what? Or been at the brink of death, like what, 3 times now, and come back. So we'll see what happens with that. But next week looks like it'll be good. Thanks for watching, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are in Georgia and you voted in that election and you voted for Ossoff and Warnock, good job, good on you. See you next time.